Something didn't make sense. Just 48 hours earlier, Alex Eala had looked unstoppable. She had stormed through one of the strongest draws of the grass court season, defeated elite opponents, captured the attention of the entire tennis world, and achieved something no Filipino player had ever accomplished before. The headlines were everywhere. The praise was endless. It felt like the beginning of something special. Then, almost without warning, everything came crashing down. One match, one opponent, one brutal reality check. Elise Mertens walked onto the court and completely changed the story. For Alex, it wasn't just a loss. It was a lesson she wasn't expecting to learn. But what happened less than 24 hours later would leave her staring at a screen in stunned silence. Because the same woman who had made Alex look ordinary was about to be dismantled herself. And the player responsible was Naomi Osaka. What unfolded next became one of the loudest statements of the entire grass season. The atmosphere in Bad Homburg had changed dramatically. Just days before, Alex Eala was the name everyone was talking about. Her run in Berlin had felt almost unreal. Match after match, she knocked down barriers that many believed would take years to overcome. She wasn't supposed to beat established stars. She wasn't supposed to challenge players ranked above her. Yet she did it anyway. Every victory pushed her ranking higher. Every win strengthened the belief that a new force was emerging in women's tennis. By the time she arrived in Germany, expectations were no longer modest. People weren't asking whether she belonged. They were asking how far she could go. But tennis has a cruel way of reminding players how difficult the sport truly is. Across the net stood Elise Mertens, one of the most experienced competitors on tour. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't constantly dominating headlines. But year after year, she remained one of the toughest opponents in women's tennis. She understood pressure. She understood timing. And most importantly, she understood exactly how to dismantle players who relied on rhythm and confidence. From the opening exchanges, Alex found herself trapped in a battle she couldn't control. The angles that had troubled elite opponents suddenly weren't creating damage. The patterns that had brought success in Berlin were being anticipated before they even developed. Every time she tried to gain momentum, Mertens seemed to have an answer waiting. What made it even more frustrating was that Alex wasn't playing badly. She was simply being outplayed. Point after point, Mertens absorbed pressure, redirected pace, and forced Alex into uncomfortable positions. The rallies felt different. The openings never appeared. The freedom she had played with days earlier seemed to vanish. The first set disappeared quickly. The second offered a brief glimpse of resistance. For a moment, Alex fought back and threatened to turn the momentum. The crowd sensed an opportunity. Her team leaned forward. It felt like the match might finally become a contest. Then Mertens slammed the door shut. 3 straight games. No hesitation. No panic. No mercy. Just like that, it was over. As Alex walked off the court, the scoreboard reflected a straightforward defeat. But scoreboards rarely reveal the full story. The real damage wasn't the result itself. It was the realization that there was still another level waiting to be reached. For the 3rd time in her career, Mertens had defeated her. 3 matches. 3 losses. A pattern was forming. And patterns can become dangerous if they remain unanswered. Most players would have returned to the hotel. Some would have avoided watching tennis altogether. Losing hurts. Watching the player who beat you continue winning can hurt even more. But Alex stayed. She headed toward the players' lounge and found a seat overlooking center court. Something told her she needed to watch what came next. What she didn't know was that the match she was about to witness would completely change the way she viewed her own defeat. Because waiting on the schedule was a clash involving one of the most recognizable names in modern tennis. Naomi Osaka, a former world #1, a 4-time Grand Slam champion, a player whose career had already inspired millions around the world. But this version of Naomi carried something different. She carried urgency. The previous years had transformed her life. She had stepped away from competition, embraced motherhood, and returned to the tour with a different perspective. The pressure that once consumed her had evolved. The expectations remained enormous, but now they existed alongside a deeper sense of purpose. And slowly, something dangerous was happening. Her confidence was returning. The signs had been there for months. The power was still there. The serve was still there. The champion's mentality was beginning to reappear. But there were still questions. Could she dominate on grass again? Could she challenge the very best? Could she become a genuine Wimbledon threat? Bad Homburg suddenly became the perfect opportunity to answer those questions. Standing across from her would be Elise Mertens, the same player who had just exposed Alex Eala's weaknesses, the same player who seemed impossible to disrupt when she found her rhythm. The matchup fascinated analysts. On paper, it looked competitive. The history between them suggested a battle. Their previous meetings had produced drama, momentum swings, and unforgettable moments. Neither player had a clear psychological advantage. Everything pointed toward a long evening. But tennis doesn't always follow expectations. As the crowd filled the stadium and the evening sky darkened above Germany, anticipation spread through every corner of the venue. Fans understood the significance. This wasn't simply a second-round match. This was a measuring stick. For Mertens, it was an opportunity to prove she belonged among the grass court contenders. For Osaka, it was a chance to remind the tennis world exactly who she was. Back in the players' lounge, Alex watched carefully. She wasn't watching as a fan. She was watching as a student. She wanted answers. She wanted to understand what she had missed. Most importantly, she wanted to see whether the wall called Elise Mertens could actually be broken. Then the first point began. And almost immediately, something felt different. Naomi's body language was unmistakable. There was no hesitation, no uncertainty, no feeling out process. She looked like a player who had already decided how the match would end. Every movement carried authority. Every shot carried intent. And within minutes, it became obvious that Mertens was facing an entirely different challenge. Because Osaka wasn't interested in surviving rallies. She was interested in controlling them. The first serves exploded through the court. The returns landed deep. The forehands arrived with frightening speed. Mertens usually thrived when opponents allowed her time to construct points. Naomi gave her none. Suddenly, the Belgian who had looked so composed against Alex found herself reacting instead of dictating. That shift changed everything. And what happened next shocked even the people who thought they knew exactly how good Naomi Osaka could be. The pressure started building almost immediately. Mertens entered the match expecting exchanges she could manage, patterns she could manipulate, and opportunities she could slowly create. Instead, she found herself trapped inside Naomi Osaka's storm. Every service game felt like a statement. Every return game felt like an attack. And with every passing minute, the balance of power shifted further toward the former world number one. The first break arrived quickly. Then came another surge. Then another reminder. This was not the cautious Osaka who had spent months searching for rhythm. This was the Osaka that opponents feared. The version capable of turning elite players into spectators. The version that once ruled the biggest stages in tennis. The crowd sensed it before the scoreboard fully reflected it. There are moments in sports when greatness becomes visible. Not because of statistics. Not because of rankings. But because everyone watching can feel it. This was one of those moments. Every clean strike echoed through the stadium. Every winner seemed louder than the last. Mertens kept fighting. Champions always do. Veterans survive because they refuse to disappear quietly. But every solution she tried seemed to create another problem. When she stepped back, Osaka attacked. When she stepped forward, Osaka rushed her. When she attempted longer rallies, Osaka shortened them. When she searched for rhythm, Osaka took it away. Nothing worked. And what nobody realized at that moment was that Alex Eala was learning one of the most valuable lessons of her young career. She was witnessing the difference between competing and imposing. Against Mertens, Alex had reacted. Osaka was forcing reactions. That distinction changed everything. As the first set slipped away from the Belgian, the match began to feel less like a contest and more like a demonstration. The numbers told part of the story. The eye test told an even bigger one. Osaka was taking away time. She was striking earlier. She was refusing to allow Mertens any comfort. Most importantly, she trusted her weapons completely. There was no fear of mistakes. No hesitation before pulling the trigger. No second-guessing. Just commitment. And commitment at the highest level can be terrifying. The second set began with hopes of a comeback. After all, Mertens had built a career on resilience. She had recovered from difficult situations before. She had frustrated bigger hitters before. She had survived worse scenarios before. But this time felt different, because Osaka wasn't fading. She was accelerating. Every time the Belgian attempted to establish momentum, another serve arrived like a missile. Every time a rally seemed balanced, a forehand winner suddenly ended it. The scoreboard kept moving. The clock kept ticking. And the upset many people expected never arrived. Inside the players' lounge, Alex barely moved. Her attention never left the screen. At first, she watched with surprise. Then curiosity. Then something deeper. Understanding. Because slowly, the defeat she had suffered the day before began making more sense. Mertens had not beaten her through magic. She had beaten her through control. Osaka was dismantling that control by refusing to surrender initiative. The realization hit hard. Alex replayed moments from her own match. The cautious shots. The opportunities she passed up. The rallies where she waited instead of attacking. The moments where she hoped rather than imposed. And suddenly, painful memories transformed into valuable information. The loss still hurt, but now it carried purpose. That purpose would matter far more than the result itself. Back on court, Osaka smelled the finish line. Great champions have a unique instinct. They know when opponents are vulnerable. They know when opportunities appear. And they know exactly how to close doors. The final stretch was ruthless. No drama. No collapse. No late twist. Just relentless execution. Then came the last point. A clean strike. A perfect finish. A winner that left absolutely no doubt. Match over. The scoreboard told a story few expected to see. Naomi Osaka had defeated Elise Mertens in straight sets. The same Mertens who had just dismantled Alex Eala. The same Mertens who entered the match overflowing with confidence. The same Mertens who looked nearly untouchable 24 hours earlier. Now she was walking off court defeated. The crowd erupted. Osaka acknowledged the applause. But the real impact of the match extended far beyond one victory. Because this wasn't simply about reaching another quarterfinal. It was about sending a message. A loud one. A message aimed at every player preparing for Wimbledon. Naomi Osaka was no longer rebuilding. She was arriving. The tennis world reacted instantly. Analysts discussed her level. Former players praised her aggression. Fans began asking the same question. Could she actually make a serious run at Wimbledon? The question suddenly felt very real. Her serve looked elite. Her confidence looked authentic. Her movement looked sharper. And perhaps most importantly, her belief looked stronger than it had in years. But while the headlines focused on Osaka, another story was quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Alex Eala remained seated. The crowd noise had faded. The match was over. Yet she continued staring toward the court. Because for her, this was never just Naomi's victory. It was a glimpse into the future. Athletes improve in different ways. Sometimes they improve through winning. Sometimes they improve through losing. And sometimes they improve through observation. This was one of those moments. A painful defeat had unexpectedly become a masterclass. The wall she thought was impossible to break had just been broken in front of her eyes. Not by luck, not by circumstance, but by courage, by conviction, by trusting power, by playing to win rather than playing not to lose. That lesson stayed with her. Later, when reporters approached and asked about what she had witnessed, the response carried more meaning than most people realized. She praised Osaka. She acknowledged the quality of the performance. But beneath those words was something deeper: motivation. Because athletes who reach the highest levels possess a rare ability. They turn disappointment into fuel. And Alex Eala has spent her entire career doing exactly that. Every setback has become a stepping stone. Every obstacle has become an opportunity. Every defeat has revealed something she needed to learn. This one was no different. The loss to Mertens hurt. Watching Osaka dominate the same opponent was humbling. But humility can be powerful when paired with ambition. And Alex's ambition has never been questioned. The rankings continue rising. The expectations continue growing. The spotlight continues getting brighter. Yet perhaps the most important development happened away from the cameras. In a quiet player's lounge. Watching a screen. Studying every point. Learning every lesson. Because while Naomi Osaka left Bad Homburg with momentum, Alex Eala left with something equally valuable. Clarity. The gap between where she was and where she wanted to be had become visible. And once you can see the gap, you can start closing it. That is what makes this story so fascinating. One player delivered a statement to the tennis world. Another player discovered a blueprint for her future. And both stories may ultimately collide on an even bigger stage. Wimbledon is approaching. The pressure is rising. The stakes are increasing. Naomi Osaka now carries the momentum of a champion finding her form at exactly the right moment. Alex Eala carries the hunger of a rising star determined to turn lessons into results. One reminded the world who she is. The other was reminded of who she can become. And if this week proved anything, it's that tennis can change in a single match. One day you are celebrating a breakthrough. The next day you are questioning everything. Then suddenly, when you least expect it, a defeat becomes a roadmap. A loss becomes motivation. A painful lesson becomes the beginning of something greater. For Naomi Osaka, Bad Homburg was a warning shot to the rest of the field. For Alex Eala, it may have been the moment that shapes the next chapter of her career. And that possibility is what makes the story impossible to forget.